Hello everyone! This is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome one and all to this newest edition of the Running on Empty Food Review series. I'm your host, the Report of the Week. Thanks for checking in. Alright, let's get right into things. Finishing off the year. This is going to be the intro of all intros. So, finishing off the year, right? At the end of 2022, and when you're at a restaurant, you end the meal, occasionally, not always, but occasionally, with a dessert. So isn't it fitting that what likely will be the final review of 2022 is a dessert review? I know, that connection right there, that's mind-blowing. I know we are all in a state of shock. From the Papa John's, no less, that is known for the esteemed Papa Bowls. I don't know about this one. I don't know. I have to just get that off my chest. I don't know. I'm going to give this a chance. We shall see. But I would be completely lying if I said that I don't have a bit of apprehension toward Papa John's after having the disgusting Papa Bowls, which those might have been the worst. That might have been the worst item I had this year. But maybe they'll redeem themselves, you know? It's a very different thing. This is a dessert. So we'll see. Papa John's has released their new Oreo Cookie Papa Bites. You could get 8 of them for the price of $5. Now, Papa John's, they name, this is what they do. Everything is, you know, it's Papa this, Papa that, Papa Bites, Papa Bowls. You could go, as a throwback to 2017, you could have Papa's burger sauce, and on it goes. So these are Papa Bites, and what they are, you have an Oreo cookie, or at least a piece of an Oreo cookie, that's wrapped in the pizza dough, and then it's baked, and then it's drizzled in a sweet icing with cream cheese icing on the side for dipping. So, I mean, I know, I like Oreos, and I actually, that's probably my favorite snack right now, Oreo cookies. I'm a big fan of them. I like the regular Oreos, but sometimes I feel like the double or triple or quadruple stuffed Oreos can be a little overboard, but sometimes they could really hit the spot. And the flavored Oreos can be good too, but I am an Oreo fanatic. I like my Oreos. I'm a big fan of them. So it is exciting to see Oreos incorporated into a dessert. And I think Papa John's is really speaking my language here, because if you watched a video that I did back in 2019, I talked about how, or maybe it was even 2020, I talked about how I'll have a bite of an Oreo cookie, and then I'll chase it down with some water, which I know many people took objection to that, and they found that rather sacrilegious. And I understand everyone pairs it with milk, and then here I am eating my Oreos with water. So I decided to reanalyze things, and now what I do when I eat an Oreo is I'll take a bite of the cookie, and then I'll take some raw pizza dough, and I'll just chase it down with that. And I'll kind of blend the two together. It'll give it some nice chewiness. I don't actually do that, but I guess for anyone that does like the pizza dough and Oreo cookie combination, then this is for you. The Papa John's Oreo Cookie Papa Bites. Yeah, it's the combination of the pizza dough and the Oreo that gets me a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how that is really going to work. I don't know, am I really in focus or am I not? It doesn't really matter, I guess. Anyway, I just don't know. I feel like this is one of those combinations that could either be really good or really bad, but pizza dough and Oreos I just don't associate together in any way. Anyway, this item has been released for a few days now. It was released in early December for Papa Rewards members, and then a few select locations started rolling it out. I got mine early, so I know I'm holding off on releasing this because it's going to be made available to the public on December 26th. So by the time this is uploaded, I think everyone will be able to partake and get the Oreo Cookie Papa Bites. Like I said, I just find the combination to be strange, but this is one of those things, I'm giving it a chance. I can't get past the Papa Bowls. I still can't. But this might be good. Who knows? It might be a combination. This might be one of those combinations where you think, wow, I didn't expect it to be as good as it wound up being, right? This is what it looks like. It comes in this receptacle. And that little sound was, those were the Papa Bites crying for freedom. I don't know if you could see the logo there. It says Papa John's, I think. Yeah. And that's where the dipping sauce is, right in there. And now opening it up, here's a better look at them. There they are. So again, it's the Oreo with pizza dough wrapped around it, with then the icing. And then in the cup here is the cream cheese icing. Right there. I would presume that it's cream cheese. They could be playing a prank on me, and this could be ranch dressing for all I know, but I shall give Papa John's the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I guess this wasn't the best place to... There we go. And that's what it looks like close up. Let me get a better view. When I film here, I like this setting, but sometimes I have to stretch a little bit to get the camera properly focused. But there it is. Pretty straightforward pizza dough with the Oreo within. And you can kind of see that little glaze on the top. Not uniformly distributed. Like this side, it looks dry. It is. There's no glaze there. But then there's glaze on this side. Like I said, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but as I look at this, I can't say that that really looks good. If you stare into this thing, does this make you think, yeah, I want to eat this? I'm just not getting that impression. Quite frankly, it looks, I don't know, diseased. But we won't judge a book by its cover. Let's just give it a shot. The Papa John's Oreo Cookie Papa Bites going in. Just take a look at the cross-section real quick. That's dough on the inside. Remember that imagery for the assessment. And now, I'll just dip this in the icing here. I'll let you know how that, see if there's any difference there. Based on the research that I was conducting on this item, because I try to get a basic, an understanding of what it is that I'll be reviewing, of course, which I think that makes sense. And based on what I was seeing, people had mixed reactions. So this is one of those items that I think some people were saying, I love it or I hate it. And there wasn't a ton of middle ground. People were either saying, I never want this again, or I want more of it. Sometimes you get items like this, where maybe it's just not for everyone. It's a step above the Papa Bowl, so that's good news. That is good news. I would not call this disgusting, so that also is good. Where it's not one of those items that I will have and then I'll wind up being very grossed out by it or disgusted by it, etc. So it's not like that, thankfully. But here's what I notice. There's just a clash in terms of the flavor that, at least to me, it doesn't work. And it's a bit disappointing because I like Oreos. Everything that I was saying about Oreos, for the most part, is true. I enjoy snacking on them quite a bit. So it is fun when I see Oreo cookies getting featured in a release. It's fun to try it out because it's something that I could directly compare to what I usually snack on, because I have Oreos pretty much every single day. And a few things. Number one, as I have this, the amount of Oreo cookie that's actually in it is not as much as you would think. That's why I showed you the cross-section. When you look at the little bite, I suppose you'd call it, you could see on the ends, protruding from both ends, the little Oreo nugget, for lack of a better word, this little blob of the Oreo cookie. But then on the inside of it, where I think people would be given the impression that it would be then stuffed with the Oreo, instead you could see that maybe there were trace amounts of Oreo, but really it was like dough with a side of Oreo cookie. But interestingly, I couldn't really discern much that would make me think, if I had this, I wouldn't say, oh, this is definitely an Oreo cookie right here. It just doesn't, it doesn't have those characteristics. I really can't even taste much in the way of chocolate. And I'll tell you why. I was talking about how the various flavors may clash with each other. Well, I was worried about the pizza dough, and it seems as though those at least concerns were justifiable. The pizza dough does not work with this at all. The pizza dough, it's two things that they don't taste disgusting together. It's not one of those things that'll make me go, ugh, and you want to just spit it out, and you never want to eat this again, and it just really grosses you out. It's not like that. It's just you have something, and it's just like, yeah, this doesn't work. It's not unbearable. It's not intolerable. But it just doesn't work. That's what this situation is. Where the dough, it's very... Here's the quality of it that bothers me the most, I think. The dough itself is very salty in nature. Now, this would work totally fine, dough-wise, as a pizza, right? Works fine as a base of a pizza, or as a breadstick, etc. Totally fine. But when you're trying to make that dough that's incorporated into, these pretty naturally salty items, into now a dessert and you're pairing it with an Oreo cookie, it just clashes and it just doesn't work. It's just no different. It's like, would you have an Oreo on a slice of pizza? Or would you, if you're eating a pizza crust, how often do you just chase it down with some Oreos? Like, do you take a bite of your Papa John's pizza crust and then eat an Oreo with it? Most people probably don't do that, and most people would think, it doesn't seem like a combination I could really see working. Well, it's exactly like that. The dough just completely clashes. It's just not a good flavor. And the dough essentially negates much of the flavor that the Oreo has. And likewise, it's very chewy. Well, it is very chewy and very doughy because that's exactly what it is composed of. So, you're biting into it and it's this blob of pizza dough. Very, I don't know if starchy would be the word, but definitely salty at that. It's just a blob of pizza dough. And you're chewing away and you're chomping away at it, very chewy, very doughy, with a little smattering of Oreo that just doesn't work. The interior of it is very dry too, and it just absorbs. I feel like it's like a little, not a black hole, that wouldn't be accurate. A little portal. And it sucks in all of the icing that's drizzled on it, and all the moisture that it may have. So as a result, it's just this like a sponge of dough. It doesn't work. So it's disappointing. I feel like if they used any other dough, aside from the pizza dough, this might be something. I could see, under the right circumstances, this could definitely work. It definitely could, but I think it's just the dough that's the problem. It's just something that isn't meant for a dessert like this. That's the impression that I get. If they changed up the type of dough that they used, I could see this working. Absolutely. Absolutely. But this just ain't it, as they say. The cream cheese icing is pretty much identical to what you would have sprinkled, or drizzled, I should say, on the bites themselves. It just amplifies, it gives it a little bit of moisture, but the sweetness itself, it doesn't work with the dough. This is like mixing oil and water. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't work. They don't go together, they clash, and that's a problem. I don't think anything will make this combination work. They need to change up the dough. If they do that, it could be salvageable, and I think it could be a successful item. But under these current circumstances, not a fan of it. Like I said, it's not repulsive, it's not disgusting, it just doesn't work. And I've said that probably for the millionth time, so that's essentially my assessment right there. $5 for 8 of these. I would not recommend them. I would say not a buy. I would avoid them, quite frankly. Plus, you can't really taste much in the way of the Oreos anyway. Therefore, out of 10. What am I going to rate? The Oreo Cookie Papa Bites from Papa John's. Out of 10, I am going to be giving these items, or this item, I'm just going to give it a 4.8 out of 10. Disappointing. If they used a different type of dough, this could easily be bumped to at least a 7. But as is, I would avoid it. That's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, The Report of the Week.